"My dear Miss Ffolliot," she exclaimed. "My dear girl, don't you really know anything about her? Hasn't anybody told you anything?" I stifled an imaginary yawn in faint protest against her unbecoming exhilaration. I have not many weaknesses, but I hate scandal and scandal mongering. All the same I was interested, although I did not care to gratify Lady Naselton by showing it. "Remember that I have only been here a week or two," I remarked. "Certainly not long enough to have mastered the annals of the neighborhood. I have not asked any one before. No one has ever mentioned her name. Is there really anything worth hearing?" Lady Naselton looked down and brushed some crumbs from her lap with a delicately gloved hand. She was evidently an epicure in story telling. She was trying to make it last out as long as possible. "Well, my dear girl, I should not like to tell you all that people say," she began slowly. "At the same time, as you are a stranger to the neighborhood, and of course know nothing about anybody, it is only my duty to put you on your guard. I do not know the particulars myself. I have never inquired. But she is not considered to be at all a proper person. There is something very dubious about her record." "How deliciously vague!" I remarked, with involuntary irony. "Don't you know anything more definite?" "I find no pleasure in inquiring into such matters," Lady Naselton replied a little stiffly. "The opinion of those who are better able to judge is sufficient for me." "One must inquire, or one cannot or should not judge," I said. "I suppose that there's something which she does or does not do." "It is something connected with her past life, I believe," Lady Naselton remarked. "Her past life! Isn't it supposed to be rather interesting nowadays to have a past?" I began to doubt whether, after all, I was going to be much of a favorite with Lady Naselton. She set her teacup down and looked at me with distinct disapproval in her face. "Amongst a certain class of people it may be," she answered severely. "Not," with emphasis, "in Northshire society. Not in any part of it with which I am acquainted, I am glad to say. You must allow me to add, Miss Ffolliot, that I am somewhat surprised to hear you, a clergyman's daughter, express yourself so." A clergyman's daughter! I was continually forgetting that, and after all it is much more comfortable to keep one's self in accord with one's environment. I pulled myself together and explained with much surprise. "I only asked a question, Lady Naselton. I wasn't expressing my own views. I think that women with a past are very horrid. One is so utterly tired of them in fiction that one does not want to meet them in real life. We won't talk of this at all. I'm not really interested. Tell me about Mr. Deville instead." Now this was a little unkind of me, for I knew quite well that Lady Naselton was brimming with eagerness to tell me a good deal about this undesirable neighbor of ours. As it happened, however, my question afforded her a fresh opportunity, of which she took advantage. "To tell you of one, unfortunately, is to tell you of the other," she said, significantly. I decided to humor her and raised my eyebrows in the most approved fashion. "How shocking!" I exclaimed. I was received in favor again. My reception of the innuendo had been all that could be desired. "We consider it a most flagrant case," she continued, leaning over towards me confidentially. "I am thankful to say that of the two Bruce Deville is the least blamed." "Isn't that generally the case?" I murmured. "It is the woman who has to bear the burden." "And it is generally the woman who deserves it," Lady Naselton answered, promptly. "It is my experience, at any rate, and I have seen a good deal more of life than you. In the present case there can be no doubt about it. The woman actually followed him down here, and took up her quarters almost at his gates whilst he was away."